She smiled in every photo. The trusted nanny, living under the same roof with a kind couple and their three beautiful children. They gave her everything: food, shelter, love. But behind that warm smile was a monster waiting to strike. Someone quietly planning their worst nightmare. What drives someone to destroy the very family that saved them? This isn't just another true crime story. This is the horrifying case of Erica Gameza, trusted nanny in the heart of California. Welcomed into the home of Camila and Philip Gowan, a devoted parents and their three beautiful children: Jordan, 6 years old; Betty, just 4; and little Kyla, only 3. Camila gave Erica everything: kindness and even love. But what Erica gave in return was betrayal, torment, and murder. One by one, the children disappeared. Torture, cold-blooded murder, a betrayal no one saw coming. And the most chilling part? Erica stayed in the house, slept in the same rooms, held Camila as she cried, pretending to grieve, knowing she was the one who destroyed everything. This story will shake you to your core and make you question, how well do you really know the people you trust with your children? Because behind Erica Gamez's calm smile was a darkness no one expected. Camila and Philip Gowan were the kind of couple people admired. High school sweethearts turned life partners. He was steady and hardworking, a local contractor who always came home in time for dinner. She was nurturing, creative, the kind of mother who packed little handwritten notes into lunchboxes. Their home in a quiet California neighborhood wasn't just beautiful, it was happy. Their children, Jordan, 6, a budding little artist with a quiet soul; Betty, 4, fiery and full of questions; and baby Kayla, only 3 years old, with eyes that seemed to understand the world far too deeply for someone so small. Together, the Gowans weren't rich in money, but in love, in joy, in connection, they were wealthy beyond measure. So when Erica Gamez entered their lives, it wasn't out of desperation, it was an act of generosity. Erica had been struggling, a series of failed relationships, no family, no stability. She applied for the nanny position with a quiet voice, a downturned gaze, and a heartbreaking story of loss. Camila, ever empathetic, saw someone who just needed a chance. And Philip, cautious but kind, agreed. From the beginning, Erica fit in effortlessly. She played tag in the yard with Jordan, helped Betty braid her hair, and rocked Kayla to sleep humming lullabies. She joined family dinners, prayed with them at night, and even stayed late on weekends so Camila and Philip could have date nights. The Gowans gave her her own room, decorated it with soft sheets and picture frames. They celebrated her birthday. They included her in holidays. She wasn't hired help. She was family. And for a while, it seemed like a perfect fit. But behind that gentle smile, behind the grateful facade, Erica Gamez was quietly unraveling. As she watched Camila and Philip's love, the joy in their children's laughter, the stability she never had, envy began to creep in. Not the fleeting kind, but the kind that festers in silence, that turns admiration into obsession. She didn't want to be part of the Gowan family. She wanted to replace them. And no one, not Camila, not Philip, not even the children, could see the storm she was preparing to unleash. Because sometimes, the greatest betrayals come from the people who sit right at your table. The people you hug goodnight. The people you trust with your most precious treasures. Before she stepped into the Gowan household, before the warm meals and family birthdays, Erica Gamez had known only darkness. Her childhood was not filled with bedtime stories or lullabies. It was foster homes, abuse, abandonment. By the age of 7, she had been in 5 different homes. By 16, she had dropped out of school and was couch surfing with friends. Trauma defined her. But does trauma explain what she became? Or was it just the soil where something much darker grew? Friends from her past describe her as sweet, but fragile. always watching, always comparing her life to others. She once told a former roommate, "Some people are born with everything, and others just get to watch." A chilling statement, but no one thought much of it at the time, until things started happening inside the Gowan home. It started small, a favorite toy disappearing, Betty waking up in the middle of the night, crying, unable to say why. Kyla, who used to giggle constantly, suddenly going quiet when Erica entered the room. Camila noticed a bruise. When she asked, Erica said Kayla fell in the yard. A week later, another bruise. Erica blamed the other children. Philip wasn't sure, but every time a question was raised, Erica had an answer. Calm, sweet, convincing. She even cried once, saying she felt like they didn't trust her. And the Gowans, kind to a fault, apologized. They comforted her. They didn't want to believe it. She lived in their home, slept just down the hall from their children. Could someone so close really be capable of hurting them? But hindsight is cruel. Looking back, it all seems obvious. The signs, the shifts in the children's behavior, the uneasy feeling Camila couldn't quite explain, but in the moment, they still saw her as family. And when someone you love lies to your face, sometimes you believe them because the alternative is too terrifying to consider. Would you have seen the truth? Would you have trusted your gut? Or the woman who rocked your babies to sleep every night? Let me know in the comments, because this story is only just beginning. At first, it was easy to ignore. Erica had been with the Gowan family for nearly a year by then. The kids loved her, at least. That's what everyone believed. But subtle shifts in behavior told a darker story. Jordan, the oldest, once brave and protective, had grown quiet. Betty, who loved to color with Camila, stopped asking for mommy time. And Kayla, sweet little Kayla, began waking up with night terrors. Camila noticed they flinched when Erica entered the room. Philip thought it was just growing pains. But the truth was, Erica had begun to isolate them. She told the children not to bother their parents, that mommy and daddy needed rest, that if they were good, they'd get to see them, and if they weren't, they'd be punished. She began locking them in their rooms for hours at a time. No toys, no water, no light. The youngest Kyla was barely 3, a child, locked in silence, in darkness. And still, Erica smiled every morning. Still, she sat at their dinner table. Still, she held the baby like she was her own. And then, the unthinkable. 2 days before the incident happened, Erica fell ill. She was weak, that she couldn't do any chores. Camila suddenly took her role in the house, just to allow her recover fully. A night before, Camila was heard singing, playing, and reading out stories to her kids. They had fun that night like it was their last. Finally, she kissed them goodnight kiss and left for her room. Immediately, Camila had gone to bed. The deed occurred. Erica went into the kids' room, and that was it. Just like any other morning, Camila and Philip awoke to silence. No laughter, no footsteps, no smell of pancakes or spilled milk. Just a feeling in the air, thick, paralyzing. The children's beds were empty, their favorite blankets gone, their backpacks gone, their shoes gone. Camila screamed their names. Philip ran through the halls. No signs of a break-in, no smashed windows, but 3 children vanished. Meanwhile, Erica pretended to be sick and couldn't move about, so no one could suspect her. The Gowans were devastated. Their entire world stolen overnight. The police questioned the neighbors, reviewed security footage. They even searched nearby woods, dumpsters, lakes. Nothing. But Erica stayed close. She sat beside Camila, held her hand, cried with her. She joined the search efforts, passed out flyers, appeared on the local news saying, "We just want them home safe." But while the world searched, Erica knew exactly where they were, because she took them. Could you look someone in the eyes, someone grieving, and pretend you weren't the one who caused it? How does a person live with that kind of lie? What would you have done if you were Camila or Philip? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Because what happened next was even worse. March 23 days after the children vanished. The search continued, relentless. The community, shattered, came together in the hopes of finding the children alive. But that hope was slowly suffocated by the silence of the earth. And then, a break in the case. In a remote, abandoned well just outside the city, a team of officers made a discovery so horrifying, it left even the most seasoned detectives speechless. The bodies of Jordan, Betty, and little Kyla, all bound, tortured, and gone, hidden beneath the earth, in the very place they should have been protected, left to decay in the darkness. Camila and Philip were told in the most agonizing way imaginable. They had hoped, prayed for days, but the news was crushing. Their precious children gone forever. And worse, the police now had the proof. The children hadn't run off. They hadn't wandered away. They had been taken. The brutality of the crime was incomprehensible. Jordan, the 6-year-old boy who once smiled with innocence, his body found bound and left to die in the dark. Betty, only 4 years old, enduring more pain than any child ever should. And tiny Kayla, just 3, the youngest of them all, trapped in a nightmare, tortured, bound, left to suffer in a place of absolute darkness. And they all had one thing in common. They had trusted Erica, and she betrayed them. For 3 days, Erica had sat beside Camila, crying the same tears, saying she was just as devastated. For 3 days, she had helped search, had comforted the family, and all the while, she knew the children were just feet away, in an abandoned well. Erica, who had pretended to be their savior, their protector, was now revealed as their executioner. But why? What twisted motive led her to destroy the very family that had given her everything? As investigators began to piece together the crime, it was clear that this was no random act. The children had been bound, their small bodies tortured for hours. No ransom demands, no signs of a struggle outside of the house. And yet, there was one detail that stood out more than the rest. The small, shallow cuts on their bodies, marks that told a different story. This wasn't just a kidnapping gone wrong. This was personal. And Erica, this woman who had spent so many months in the Gowans' home, had a darkness in her that no one could have anticipated. Was it jealousy? Was it rage? Or something darker, buried deep inside her? Stay tuned. What happened next will reveal the chilling truth behind Erica's monstrous plan. For days, Erica denied everything. She cried. She trembled. She said she had no idea what happened to the children. "They must have run off," she claimed. "I didn't see them." But there was something that didn't add up. Something the detectives couldn't ignore. A single fingerprint on a piece of duct tape found at the crime scene. It was small, barely visible, but it was all they needed. A single trace of her presence at the scene. And that's when the investigators dug deeper. They didn't just look at the obvious evidence. They went through everything she owned. Diaries, personal belongings, anything that could help explain her actions. What they found was chilling. Erica's diary painted a portrait of a woman consumed by bitterness and jealousy. As the detectives flipped through the pages, the haunting words revealed a much darker side. "They have everything. I have nothing. It's not fair. If I can't have that life, no one can." It was as though the pen had bled out all her insecurities, her resentment, and most terrifyingly, her plan. She had watched the Gowans, Camila, and Philip with envy, wondering why they had the perfect family, the perfect life. and it festered inside her like a poison, until it twisted her into someone unrecognizable. She was no longer the kind-hearted Nanny. She had become something much darker. She'd been waiting for the perfect moment, and when that moment came, she had taken it. The detectives confronted her with the damning evidence. The fingerprint on the duct tape, the diary entry. They were all she needed to break. And when they pressed her further, the truth began to seep out. Slowly, reluctantly, but it came. Erica admitted she had been plotting for months. "I didn't want to hurt them. I just wanted to live their life," she confessed. "I thought if I could just take them out of the picture, maybe I could have it all." The detectives listened, horrified, as she described the twisted fantasies she had about living in their home with their perfect children. The plan was cold and calculated. The horror she had unleashed was all part of her scheme. In that moment, Erica's once innocent face morphed into the face of a cold-blooded murderer. She had manipulated her way into their home, become a part of their family, all while plotting their destruction from within. The perfect family she had once admired was now shattered beyond repair. And it was all because of the woman they had trusted most. How could she do it? How could someone so close, so trusted, betray everything they'd been given? The courtroom fell silent as Camila Gowan stood to speak. A mother, a woman who had lost everything. Her tears were silent, but her words were filled with a grief so profound it shook the entire room. She recounted the years of trust, the love she and her husband had shown Erica, how they had welcomed her into their home like family. "We gave you everything." Camila's voice cracked as she spoke. "And this is what you did to my children." But it wasn't just her words that caused a ripple in the room. Erica's demeanor began to change. The woman who had appeared so calm, so composed, suddenly shifted. Her eyes narrowed, her jaw tightened. And then, without warning, she snapped. In a move that stunned everyone present, Erica pulled a gun hidden beneath her jacket. "You stole my life!" she screamed, her voice laced with a fury that could only come from years of buried resentment. The room froze in panic as the mother of the children looked on in horror. Her terror, her heartbreak, everything was visible in that one moment. And then, just as quickly as it had begun, chaos erupted. Security officers tackled Erica to the ground before a shot could be fired. The room erupted into screams, chairs knocking over, and a rush of officers swarming the scene. The gun, the weapon she had tried to use to take away the life of the woman who had given her everything, slipped from her hand. But the damage was done. The truth was out. In that single act of violence, Erica revealed the true motive behind her horrifying actions. This wasn't just about children. This was about jealousy so deep, so overwhelming, that it consumed her very soul. She had wanted their life the perfect, peaceful family, and when she couldn't have it, she was willing to destroy everything in her path to make sure no one else could either. The children were never truly the victims in her mind. No, the real target had always been Camila. Camila, the woman she envied. The woman who had the life she could never have. Do you think the trial gave Camila any sense of justice? Or was it forever tainted by the horror of what happened? The Gowan family never truly recovered. How could they? The woman they had trusted most had destroyed them from within. The betrayal was unimaginable. The loss even worse. Their home, once filled with laughter, love, and the noise of children playing, now echoed with silence. Each room haunted by memories of those precious moments, now stolen forever. In the aftermath, the world watched, horrified. News outlets, social media, and communities were all left in shock, trying to comprehend the unthinkable. Erica, the nanny they had taken into their hearts, was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. But even that could never erase the damage she'd done. She had destroyed more than just a family, she'd shattered lives and left scars so deep they could never heal. But for Camila and Philip, the pain would never end. They may have had justice, but it came at the cost of everything they held dear. The echoes of their children's laughter, forever silenced. The future they had once dreamed of, forever altered. Life without their three beautiful kids was a sentence of its own, a prison of memories that no verdict could erase. And as the days passed, the shock turned to mourning, and the mourning turned to a somber acceptance that some wounds can never be healed. How can a family begin to rebuild when everything they knew has been taken from them? Was this pure evil, or a cry for help? Could anyone have seen it coming? Could anyone have predicted that the very person they opened their home to, the one they trusted with their children, was capable of such horror? And what makes someone so envious, so broken, that they'd go to such extremes? What happens to a person who's given everything, yet still feels so empty? Was Erica born this way, or was she shaped by a lifetime of pain, loss, and neglect? Was her anger and jealousy a byproduct of a tragic childhood, or something much darker, festering inside her all along? Could anyone have prevented this tragedy? Tell us your theory in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts on what could have driven this woman to commit such an unspeakable act. For more chilling true crime stories like this, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Remember, sometimes the most dangerous people are already inside your home.